Hello everyone, today I'm going to demonstrate the video tutorial for formative assessment number 3, question number 2. But before that, you need to scroll down more on the documentation that you have for that formative assessment until you reach the question number 2. So there has to be a lot of tutorials that you will come along the way before you get to that page. So I'm just showing you the question number 2 for now. Okay. So I hope you will be able to see this. Okay. There should be a MySQL uh, challenge that allows you to add 10 records using an interface such as this. So you have to specify, okay, the information for a dog to be registered. So you have to have a dog register.php that accommodates encoding for the name, breed, age, address, color, height, and weight. And there must be a save button, okay, that will perform saving function on that page. Okay, so yes, you need to specify a PHP file for that. So let me just start with our demonstration by showing you uh, the SAMP. This needs to be this needs to be started, okay, regarding with the Apache and MySQL function. So you need to click on those buttons as well. Okay, and from there, what you have learned from me is the thing that you need the most for this formative. Okay, so you need to start by specifying your database. Okay, so we need to type in the cd slash and then start with the samp. Okay, samp uh, directory to be able to use the mysql command. Okay, so you need to use the samp mysql bean and then mysql and minus sign u for the user. Well, our user is always the root, okay, by default, and then minus p for password. You just press enter for the password, okay, and you will be able to see this MariaDB. Okay, so with this, we are now ready for creation of the table, rather database. Okay, create database, and from here we need to specify the name. Okay, so db underscore FA3. Okay, because this is the formative assessment number that we are concerned with. So we need to also show the databases that is stored on that MariaDB. Okay, so we have db underscore fa3 showing up at the top, which means that we have successfully added it, okay, from the list. So with that being added, we can now use it, okay, for our creation of the table. Okay, so since it's all about the dog, then definitely we'll have to create a table for that. Okay, so we use db fa3, okay, first, so that we can prepare ourselves to create a table for that. So first step is to create a database, then you will be able to create the table. Okay, and with that table being said, we need to use the create command. You used to remember the create command SQL statement. So we do that by having it side by side with our formative assessment. Okay, in order for me not to miss any of those fields, okay, when creating a table. So we create tbl dog, and let's start with an ID. Okay, a dog ID, and let's specify its data type by typing int type, and it's all up to you if you want to get to set it with more digits on it. You can go more than 5, but this time I wanted to align it with what we had tried from our previous subtopic as well. So on our for we have on our previous one, we also have to specify if it's a primary key, if it's not null, and and its auto increment feature. Okay, so that we don't need to specify a number for it to be unique. And then next we have to specify the dog name, so we use the D name this time, and have it declared with its character type. Okay, so again, it's all up to you with the size, okay, of that character. You it's it has to have the breed, the age, address, color, height, and weight on it. Okay, so I'm just trying to look at the reference that I can see on my left side, okay, so that I won't miss uh, the encoding part to encode it properly. Okay, so just follow what I just wanted to try here. So address, character, and we'll need to specify the color as well. Okay, so we have weight, height, and weight of int data type, and when we are ready, just press enter. So I'll take time to re-inspect the code before I press enter. Okay, I really need to make sure every field has been accounted. Okay. So there, if you don't have any other problem, then you will get a query OK message. Next is we need to describe it, okay, to see our table uh, information. So here we have the ID, the name, and the rest of the fields. Okay, so we're doing it right now. So this time, since we are done with the creation of the table in the database, we need to go back to our code. So in our code, we have here we have specified under the form the dog register.php under the action. So when we click on the button will just do the code for the action part. Okay. So with that being kept in our mind, we'll need to specify the code for this dog register and with the use of method post. Okay. So when we do the code, we'll keep in mind those two important note. So this is the output, okay, but again, the code is still not ready because we need the dog register.php first, okay, before we can run that program, okay. So it's all up to you if you want to have a border of 1 or 0, okay. I'm using border 0 to really align it with this one, okay, to follow with this formative assessment documentation because it doesn't have the border in it, and some of the fields are text fields are placed after the label, but in my case I just wanted it to be side by side, placed beside it. Okay, so we now try to code the dog register. So just follow my lead regarding with this coding. So we need to specify the server name, just like what we had on the formative assessment. You just have to specify the server name. In our case, we do know that it's the local host that we always used. Okay, so next we need to specify the username, and we'll need to set it as root. Okay, since by default we use the root as the username, and we're going to set up the password. Okay, the password has to be blank. Okay, so we don't put anything inside the double quotations. And next we need to specify the database name. So we'll name it as db name according to our formative assessment. That's the db name variable. And since we have created a database name, we name it according to that one. So previously we have created db underscore FA3. Next is since we're done with the variable creation, we need to follow uh, the rules. Now we have the create connection comment, and in this uh, tutorial I want you to type con equals our variable con equals mysqli connect, and we'll need to put inside the parameters the following. Okay, the variable server name, the username, the password, and also the DB name. Okay, so those are the ones that we have encoded previously. Okay, take a look at the topmost of our screen. You have those variables, right? So we just need to type those. Okay, and then when we're done with that, okay, the next thing is to check if we are really connected to the database. Okay, if we have successfully done that, then there should be a message that will allow us to see, okay, what is the result. So I'm just putting a comment here, just typing the word check connection, and just have to type the word if statement here to really know if we are connected. Okay, so I'm using con here. um, the the die method has to be there, okay, uh, for the display of if a certain error was met. So let's say die connection failed, just like what we had on our formative assessment documentation. And we'll need to concatenate it with a period, okay, by typing the mysqli connect error. Okay, this mysql connect error is a method, okay, that is useful for you to be able to see what went wrong with the connection if it's not really connected. Okay, so next is when this is done, then we have to specify the variable, okay, that will collect the value that was collected from our forms. So we have the forms name here, name for each of those fields. Okay, so make sure that you change that from ID to name, okay, as well. So we use the name to connect it with our variable here. So I'm using the same name to make it programmer friendly. If it's dog name, then it has to be a name on the other side. Okay, so we're using post here. Okay, post because that is the only way we can get the field's value coming from the form. Okay, so since we specify the post as a method, then we're going to use post here. Okay, and I'm just going to do some copy pasting activity here so that it will be easier for me to change each of those fields, okay, and have it placed on our code. So I have the age and age on the other side, and we'll have address and address on the other side. So do this repeatedly to be able to accomplish all of those fields, okay? Those fields to be added onto your program. You need those, okay? Be prepared to be prepared before you get to the next code, which is um, a code that will allow you to establish the SQL statement. So here we're done with the variable. I'm going to type now the variable for statement, okay, SQL statement. Let's say we write a dollar sign SQL equal sign insert into. So this time we're going to use the insert SQL statement to add a certain record to our table. Okay. So we'll have insert into, then TBL dog, and have those fields to be specified on our parentheses. Okay. So we have the dog name. I'm going to use again the previous code as a reference. So dog name, breed, age, address, and so on and so forth. Next is I have to go down just to type the values, okay, and I need to make sure that those values to be inserted are well aligned with those fields, okay. So I'll just have to do some copy pasting again here. Okay, need to copy this. Well, I think it will be better to copy from this line, okay, to make it faster. Okay, comma, space, and then I'm going to use dollar sign before those names, okay? So I have it placed before their names. Then next is after writing the SQL statement, then you need to specify the connection, okay? So you need to have a query to be executed. So in order for us to execute a query, we need to use the MySQL I underscore query to process them. Okay, so I'm going to place the single quotation around the variable first. Okay, because since those fields are character, we need to enclose them with single quotation. Okay, so those that are being created with of character data type are the the name, the breed, the address, and the color. Okay, and we don't need to specify single quotations for integer data type. Now we're ready with the MySQL query this time. Okay, so we have the MySQL query and we need to specify under its parameter the or the connection string that we had prepared. Okay, and also the this is the connection string I'm showing you, and the SQL statement, okay, that we just prepared, okay, few lines ago. So we have those, okay, being accommodated with this line. So under that MySQL query, so we need to use echo to display, okay, an information that allows us to see if we had successfully added a new record. Okay, this is the comment, or I mean this is the string that we had on the formative assessment. But you can be creative with this area. We can think out of the box, okay, coming from this. So we can just change this by specifying the name of that was added, and then uh, a set of words that will allow us to modify the instruction. Let's say we wanted to inform that the user that a certain record of that dog was added to the database or was stored properly. So you can just play around with these words, okay, to fit the need of your program. Okay. In my case, I can just make it simple, okay, to be able uh, to cater the need in this program. So let's say the dog name blank, and then this message should be seen onto the screen. Let's say dog name was stored, okay, in the database. Okay, so when we're done with that, okay, then we can just go with the else part. Okay, on the else part, you just have to provide an error message. So you just need to use the error string and concatenate it with the function of MySQLi error. Okay? And in order for you to do that without bugs, okay, you need to, of course, write the name of that connection string variable um, inside the parameter of MySQLi error. So there, I just added it inside. So we just need to make sure everything is correct. Then we will need to close the MySQL connection by using the MySQLi close and use again the name of that connection string variable. We have con, and that's it for the code. We just need to save it and hope there will be no bug. Okay, I failed to inspect this line. Oh, this happens because uh, I failed to write the semicolon before this line of code. So you see, it looks like this one's the error, but that is showing, but actually it's not. Okay, it's uh, it's got to be the first line before that. So the line that needs to have a semicolon to be placed. Okay, in order for you to remove that kind of error. Okay, and then just save this, and when everything is correct, then or being inspected with no bugs, okay, to be seen on your program, you can just right click and look for server, or you can just refresh the the browser that you just had, okay, on your preferred browser. It can be Microsoft Edge or your Google Chrome. Okay, so I think I'm done with this code. I hope there will be no bugs in this. Okay, this is the output, and we just need to click on submit button when you're done. And there, we have successfully added Malone in our database. So Malone was stored in the database compared to the one that we had by default. They will just tell you that no record was stored in the database, but we just uh, added the new information to be seen on that. Okay, so next is going back to the CMD or command prompt. We need to select, okay, we need to show the record if we're doing it right. So we just try select the table, okay, of if it has a record. Oops, I forgot to write the word select asterisk from, okay, and then space the table name. And there you have it. Okay, we have number one in the listing that has an ID number one, Malone, and that would be all with the information. So we just successfully had all of those being uh, placed in this table. So we're doing it right. Okay. Next is since I'm done with the table, I'm going to demonstrate to you how it can be viewed in PHP Okay, so instead of using this black and white console to see the details, we can also use your SAM control panel and click on the admin. Okay, on the admin, just click on the database name seen on the left side. It's DB underscore FA3. Okay, just click on it and you will be able to see the structure. Okay, so here we have the table. Okay, TBL dog. You can click on browse or structure or search on it using this facility. Okay, you just right now I just click the structure and you will be able to see the data dictionary on this DBMS. Okay, so you see the DID, DNAME, breed, and all of them are having their structures being seen equivalent to our CMD. And I just click on the browse and you just see the Malone number one record there. And that will be all for this demonstration tutorial. And see you again on our next meeting.